It's a mecca for finicky foodies with deep pockets. A safe haven for the holistic, the vegan, the lactose intolerant. Welcome to the rarefied air of Whole Foods, which some dismiss as whole paychecks. Where you can find maple-crusted macadamias for $19 a pound and coconut milk ice cream for $5 a pint. You'll also find tender, succulent, wild Alaskan salmon selling for $14 a pound when we saw it. If you're wondering what could justify that much money for a piece of fish, we did too. So we traveled thousands of miles in search of the answer. Make your way up the coast of Alaska, and you'll come across the small seaside town of there, about a mile offshore, you'll find a little fishing trawler called the Triad, with just one man aboard.
My name's Frank White. I'm a commercial salmon fisherman. I troll for king and coho salmon primarily.
Frank White is the Triad's laid-back owner. He fishes the old-fashioned way with single lines and lures, not big nets, sometimes catching just one fish at a time. And yet he still manages to make a decent living.
Got big catch of the day here.
That's because White has a buyer who not only supports this old-school style of fishing, but actively seeks it out.
I know my fish is going to a place where it's going to get handled with care and end up in a premium market.
That buyer is Whole Foods. Keith Harris spends 4 months a year in Sitka overseeing the salmon catch for the chain.
I can tell just by looking at them. It has to do with just the brightness of the fish, the scale amount on the fish. If you got heavy scale loss, then there's evidence it's been poorly handled.
Harris says Whole Foods standards are higher than other supermarkets, and fish caught with big commercial nets simply aren't good enough, even though he could buy them cheaper.
They're smaller and get some bruising along, some net marks and heavy scale loss that we just don't approve of.
That's why Whole Foods partners with fishermen like White, who brings their catch to Sitka's port, where Harris sorts it by size and quality.
That's exactly what we're looking for. You just keep the grade like that, we're good.
Then it's gutted, scaled, and quickly packed into the cargo bay on Alaska Airlines 737. The fish we saw was on its way to a Whole Foods in Chicago. The entire trip took less than 48 hours. And it shows how Whole Foods has come a long way from 1980. It began as a single store in Austin. Today it has 300 stores and has become a benchmark for the entire industry.
I think it's changed people what a grocery store can be like, right?
Yeah.
What it's like to shop for food.
Yeah.
Walter Robb is co-CEO of Whole Foods. For more than 20 years, he's been helping develop its distinctive and enormously successful personality. Working alongside John Mack, the company's visionary and controversial founder, Robb has also seen it grow into a Fortune 300 company that sold roughly $9 billion of groceries in 2010.
To me, it feels like a combination of a green market, a farmer's market, an outdoor market, a traditional market, a fishmonger.
Give me a few seconds, hold the pinball down, I'll walk it over for you. Take a seat.
A meat market, all those things rolled into one.
Robb concedes that what Whole Foods does, it didn't necessarily invent. There were always specialty gourmet shops with lush displays and delicacies. There were organic stores pushing locally grown produce. And there were owners who knew if you sampled it, you were more likely to buy it. But there were none who put all of that under one big roof. Yet it all comes with a price.
Are you whole paycheck? Not anymore. Not anymore.
Tell me why I shouldn't buy into that.
Well, talk is cheap. You should go into the store for yourself with a pad and pencil and compare between whatever store you want, bread, milk, basics. Look for yourself, and then you can come to a conclusion.
Indeed, for staples like milk and butter, Whole Foods prices are comparable to other chains. It's the Exotica, the Alaskan king crab, or organically grown heirloom tomatoes that can boost your tab.
Are we more expensive? Can you find the stuff for less? if it's different quality standards, yes, you can. For the same quality standards, I think we're extremely competitive in getting more stuff.
When the average customer comes in here,
Yes.
what do they spend?
Average basket's about $33.
$33 may not seem like much, but it's $4 more than shoppers typically spend at a conventional market.
Here you go, enjoy, okay?
Multiply that by tens of thousands of supermarket visits daily, and you can see where Whole Foods gets its edge.
All right.
Anything else for you?
Not to mention margins that at nearly 3% are significantly higher than the industry norm.
Here you go, enjoy.
It's also why many competitors mimic it, resent it, and have gone green with envy.
I want to talk about competition in this business.
Good.
You're a soft-spoken guy, but this is a competitive business.
Don't mistake that for not being competitive. You can't be a retailer worth your salt and not be like a bird with your head swiveling all the time looking for what's going on, because basically anybody that sells food is our competition.
Some critics say that tough sensibility puts the company at odds with its down-to-earth image, friendly with the local farmer, but at the same time, anti-union. Rob doesn't buy it.
We really believe that our company is built on our team members, that they're the secret sauce. Their work every day and the way they do their work, the experience they have when you come in the store is what sets this company apart. That's not lip service. That's in my heart, and that's in John's heart, and that's what I think this company is built on.
What Whole Foods did first, and still does better than nearly every other food retailer, is to give everything it sells a story, a back-to-basics tale of where it came from. Austin farmer Larry Butler has sold his produce to Whole Foods for 20 years.
Whole Foods has helped all small farms and farmers. One of the ways they've done that is they've made the awareness of organics. How do you know it, buddy? They brought it to the forefront. Whether they hate Whole Foods, whether they love Whole Foods, or whether they're somewhere in the middle, we've all gained from it.
Do other stores do this? Some do, but nobody has mastered the art and theater of selling food as successfully as Whole Foods. For them, it means carrying the right things and surprisingly not carrying the real thing. You'll never see Coca-Cola on its shelves, or Pepsi, or Oreos.
We've got a set of really strict quality standards, and any product that's on our shelf has been vetted. In fact, we've worked really closely with some of these suppliers to filter out all their products that don't meet our standards.
Errol Schweitzer is the chief buyer for Whole Foods, and while he does stock some major brands like Ben & Jerry's, the company has made a practice of highlighting its own 365 house brand, as well as products from regional suppliers.
I would think that the little guys, the local guys, love you.
Oh, they do?
Because you are the cornerstone of their business.
In fact, I would say that's our specialty, helping develop brands and new trends and help create new products to market.
Getting a new brand on the shelf is no easy feat.
Every grocery store, you take them around the perimeter, right? And the key is how do you get them to come down the center of the store?
Coming up, the battle for shelf space when Supermarket Inc. continues.